You finally bought your land. Congratulations. But here's the shocking part. Buying land is just 30% of the journey. The other 70% is developing it the right way. One wrong move can cost you millions, delay your project, or even lead to demolition. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate I.Q, where we get to answer real estate frequently asked questions people are either too scared or too confused to ask. I'm your host, Sharon Ibinabo, and today we are talking about things that happen after you buy your land. Let's get into it. So the first question I have on my list today is, before you lay your first block, your building plan should be approved by the relevant government authorities in Rivers State. So the general process is you hire a registered architect to prepare your building drawings to your taste, and then you conduct a survey of the land if necessary. So the next step after that is to submit your documents through the appropriate state physical planning authority, and then after that you pay the required assessment and processing fees. Then you wait for the inspection and approval before construction begins, and then that's it. Skipping this whole process can create serious legal problems later. But if you are too occupied to carry out these processes, if you bought from a credible real estate company or firm that does construction also, like Temple Property Limited, we will do all that for you. You don't have to go through that stress of going to the authorities, the right authorities for the building plan, and then the whole process. You don't have to go through that. We can handle it for you. Well, there is no fixed price to these costs for the fencing and basic development. There are no fixed price to it. It all depends on the size of your land and the type of fence that you want. In building a fence, you have to pay for the blocks, you have to pay for the cement, you have to pay for sand. You have to, if you don't have a water supply there, it's either you get a borehole or you start hiring generators to pump water or something. But those are like basic things that you need if you're getting a fence, if you want to build a fence. And then you still pay for the laborers. So the cost depends on the current prices of cement, the current price of sand, of blocks, of iron rod and labor. So whether the land needs clearing or sand filling, those are things that you will definitely pay for. That is if the land needs clearing and sand filling. So basic development usually includes bush clearing, that is clearing of your property or your land. It has to do with setting out the building, that's cancellation. It has to do with fencing. Then you install your gates. So water supply, yes, that is the basic development when you want to develop on your land. Always budget beyond the cost of just buying the land. If you're ready for development, you should have budgeted for that also. Like, you should also include that into your budget when buying the land. I would say yes and no. Why do I say this? Because you have to first ensure that all your documents are complete. The land has been properly surveyed. The boundaries have been confirmed. Your building plan has been approved, and then there are no disputes or government restrictions. So when you've done all this, that is when you can begin your construction confidently. When you buy from a credible real estate company, your documents are going to be complete. If you want to go further and get a CO, maybe this land that you bought doesn't have a CO, if you want to go further and do that, that's fine. But as long as you have your deed of conveyance or deed of assignment, and then you have your survey plan, your registered survey plan, all your documents are complete, time. Then you get your building plan approved and go ahead with your construction. So once these are in place, you can confidently carry on with your construction. Depending on your location, you may need approvals for borehole drilling, electricity connection, drainage works, road access, or driveway construction. Some estates, like real estate companies, they handle all these ones. They handle the approval internally, while others, it requires you to apply to government agencies or utility providers. But then, if you are buying from an estate, I believe that these basic amenities come with the land, come with that estate that you are purchasing into. So you will not have to, stress yourself with the whole utility and electricity, road, good access road and stuff. When you're buying from a credible real estate company and you're buying from an estate, the real estate company managing that estate is going to, all these basic amenities are already there with the land that you purchase. What I'm going to say to this is that you should never ever rely on just verbal descriptions like from this pole to the next pole. No, don't do that. You have to carry out your survey. Use a registered survey plan. Invite your licensed surveyor to confirm the boundaries of that property. Then you confirm the beacon positions before construction. Then you ensure that your neighbors agree on the boundary. Correcting a wrongly positioned building is far more expensive than confirming the boundaries first. So before you start that construction, do well to confirm the boundaries of that property. So some of the biggest mistakes when people make is building without approval. That's number one. Some persons, they just build, they don't know, they don't have this information that they have to go for approval first before they build. So they just build without approval, and then the government officials will come and now write X on their building wall. Yeah, so the next mistake is to ignore soil conditions. For example, if the place is prone to flooding or waterlogged, you have to do something about it before you build. And then the next mistake people make is to start constructions without proper planning. Like they don't budget properly for it, and then that's one of the mistakes. And then the next one is to use unqualified artisans. Using unqualified artisans, your laborers, they don't know exactly what they are doing. And then failing to supervise the work. That is another mistake some people carry out. So remember that poor planning is more expensive during construction. If you don't plan properly, your construction site is not going to come out well. There is no single answer to this question. If you have sufficient funds, you can carry on with your project at once. That it all boils down to how much funds you have. So if your budget is limited, then gradual development is perfectly fine. That's all. It all comes down to your planning. Like I said earlier, planning is very, very important. So this is something that some people may overlook. A land with a weak or swampy soil may require deeper foundation and then more concrete, sand filling as additional reinforcement and filling. So these affect the development structure. Then a sloped land may also require excavation or retaining walls. So that's why two identical plots can have different construction costs based on the soil and the topography of that plot. So it all depends on your budget. It all depends on your budget, the approval timelines, weather conditions, and availability of materials, contractor performance. All these comes down to you and your artisans that are involved. The whole thing is that you should just plan properly. A basic home or a basic building can take up to months to years. It all depends on your budget and availability of materials and all those things. The answer to this question is yes. If your building sits on government acquisition, if it blocks drainages, if it violates the planning regulations or fails to meet up with standards approved, the authorities may issue a stop work order, or you pay a fine, or they demolish the structure. So getting the right approvals before building is way cheaper than dealing with enforcement later. Buying land is exciting, but developing it is what protects your investment. So if this episode answered your questions about development, then you should share it with other people that you think have asked these kind of questions before. If you have more real estate questions, don't forget to drop it down in the comment section and we're going to answer it on the next episode. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you will be notified the next time we post Real Estate I.Q. And don't forget, this is Real Estate I.Q. I'm your host, Sharon Ibinabo, and on this show we get to answer real estate frequently asked questions people are either too scared or too confused to ask. See you on the next episode.